What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I am Timmy Foodie. Follow me on Instagram at Timmy_foodie. Head over to my website timmyfoodie.com, or follow my podcast called Harmonic Whiskey Tales. And yeah, there we go. Let's get cracking with this. Now, I'm on my 4th day of lasagna leftovers, so I'm a little bit sick of it, but it's still pretty good, so I'm pretty happy. I've got one portion left, which I'm cooking. Well, say cooking, I'm just warming it up in the oven. Like, I've got it on 170, 180 degrees, just covered in the oven, just warming through nice and gently. What I was going to do, I've been having it with salads and all this sort of stuff over the past few days, but I've got some veggies in the fridge that kind of need using up. So I thought I'd just knock up a quick little veggie thing. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do yet, but we'll figure it out, and I think this would be quite nice to go with the lasagna on the side. So what we're going to do, this is a recipe that my sister did for me once, or a variation on it. She's like super talented vegan chef, so this is great for the veggies and the vegans out there. If you're doing a lasagna and it's your veggie lasagna or whatever, then it's going to go great with that, or you can just have it with some mixed salads, some steamed potatoes and tofu, whatever you want to do it with, but this is a great little thing to do with that. So what we're going to do is get a knife out, because that's going to help. Now I'll go a bit quicker with my knife stuff, because I'm trying to keep the videos not quite as long as they have been. I've been kind of waffling quite a lot, which I don't know, maybe you're enjoying, but I feel like it might be better to try and keep these videos a little bit shorter maybe. I mean, there are going to be some where there's going to be like a complicated recipe and I'm going to need to go a bit more into detail, but I want to try and keep things down to sort of about 15 minutes max. So but I'd love your thoughts. So if you're watching and enjoying, or if you've got any feedback, then give me a shout. So I'm just roughly kind of chopping these up into like little kind of shapes. Doesn't really matter what you're doing. I mean, I'm going half and then just dicing across like this, which I think is going to be pretty good. I've probably got too much already, but never mind. I mean, this, you can cook it and it will last till the next day in the fridge if you don't eat all of it, and you can just sort of reheat it or chuck it in with some tomato sauce or something and make a little pasta sauce with it, or all kinds of stuff. So there's my zucchini. What I'm going to do actually is the annoying beeping induction pan. I'm going to get the heat on this and get this warming up, just sort of medium high heat, just to get the heat going through it. I should probably talk you through what you need. Some mixed veggies, whatever you want to do. I mean, I've got zucchini or courgette, got some broccolini, and I got some sort of light green bell pepper capsicum thing, whatever you want to call that. So I'm gonna just roughly chop all this stuff. It doesn't really matter how you chop it up, really. Keep the sizes reasonably consistent if you can, I guess, but it's up to you. I'm just getting some of the seeds out of there. And then this one, I mean, I've just done it in half, but we can just do kind of literally something like this. Cut through, perfect, that's good. I'll cook those at the same time. The broccolini I'll pop in a little bit later, so I'll chop that in a minute. That's just going to be roughly chopped. Let's just get rid of this while the pan heats up. Very nice. So then what else you're going to need? The main thing for this is balsamic vinegar. I've got a little balsamic glaze as well, because I think that's going to be good. Olive oil, salt, pepper, that's kind of it. You could put a bit of butter in at the end, so for the veggies and the meat eaters out there, it's a great little thing to do. But for vegans, you can drizzle a bit more oil in at the end, or some nutlets, or one of your vegan spreads. That would work fine. So yeah, the nutlets I think is pretty consistently good in terms of spread if you're vegan. So I find the olive oil based one's quite nice. There's a few other good ones as well, but the olive oil one's not too bad. I've got some fresh basil that I've got left over in the fridge as well, so we're gonna chuck some of that in at the end, because why the hell not? So pan is getting nice and hot. This is like a medium-high heat. I want this to seal off and start to colour some of these courgettes and some of this pepper. So we want a bit of heat in this thing. So once you can kind of feel the heat radiating off it, once you're getting to that stage where you kind of feel the heat, little drizzle of olive oil, and then we're going to just grab some of our lovely courgettes, and that should sizzle like that when you put it in straight away. So that's when you know you kind of got it hot enough. If it doesn't really sizzle when you put it in, you've not really got it hot enough. So that's all right. Turn the heat up, and you know you'll be fine. It's no big deal. So yeah, we're going to pop all this in at once because that's all good there. That's going to cook around the same sort of time. Pinch of salt, very nice, and bit of pepper, like a pinch of pepper if you're not grinding it yourself, but I don't know, about that many grinds if you're doing it freshly ground. I recommend freshly ground because it's just more delicious really. So that's good. I need a spoon, but let's just give that a toss. Wooden spoon because we're in a non-stick pan. Let that, toss it round initially, get it nice and coated in oil on all sides. If you don't know how to do the old pan toss, then that's basically how you do it. It's a good thing to learn how to do because you can show off if you're like trying to impress a girl or a boy, and you know, always good to impress people while you're cooking. Add a little bit of Shazam to it. So now I've tossed that on all sides, I've seasoned with salt and pepper. Now we just want to let it sit there and just let it take some colour on the sides. So what we're going to do, we're going to give this about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to give it another toss, and then I'll show you what it should look like. But we just want it to take on a bit of colour and start to go a bit golden and kind of, you know, starts doing its thing. So let's give this 2 minutes and then we'll come back. Okay, so you can kind of see the sort of colour I'm talking about on that. That's been about a minute or two. These are too small to turn individually because really you can't be fucked with that. It's going to take fucking ages. So we're just going to give it a little toss like this, and you should see some colour starting to take on some of these sides. And at this point, let's just sort of move it around a bit. You might want to try and flip a few of these manually. If you want to do that, get out a little fork or a knife or something, and it just helps you turn it over. Let it do its thing. And just kind of keep doing this for, it's going to take about 5 or 6 minutes total time, I reckon, from, you know, from when we started, maybe a little bit longer. We just want it to cook down, soften off, take on some colour. So just sort of, you know, let it sit for, 30 seconds, then give it a little toss around like this. Give it the old toss if you've got the techniques and the skills down. If you've got an annoying induction hob like this, then the fucker will beep at you every time you take the pan off it. I don't quite know why it wants to do that, because why does it matter if you take your pan off it? It's just, I don't get it. It's just a bit annoying, but maybe it's like some sort of health and safety thing. Like, I don't know why, but this is the crazy world we live in, unfortunately, but never mind. Ah, bit of water, delicious. So yeah, we're going to keep cooking that down a bit. Give that another 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll get on to the next stage. So we'll be back in 2 to 3 minutes, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Right, we're back. That's been about 2 minutes-ish. You can see we're starting to get some really nice colour and all this stuff. So what we're going to do is pop in our broccolini. Now with this, just roughly, just put the knife through it like that. Really simple, yeah, not too complicated. This doesn't take as long to cook. Like the really good broccolini, I mean, you can pretty much eat it raw, like just warm it through and have it basically raw. I mean, it's really good for you. So we don't need to cook this for more than a couple of minutes in this pan like this. So let's chuck it in like that. I'm going to do a little more olive oil just to loosen it off. This olive oil almost helps to form almost like a vinaigrette on this stuff. So, and it's good extra virgin olive oil, so it's it's pretty sweet. I think my pepper grinder's run out of pepper, which is annoying, but we've probably got enough in there. So let's give that another little toss around just to coat the oil on the broccoli. Oh, chuck some on the floor if you can. If you can't do it, then don't worry about it. It's not essential to the recipe. If you do and you want to keep it in the pan, give it a wash and pop it back in again. Nice. Oh fuck. Yeah, so that's going to just tick over. Let's again just keep this moving around. Let's give this 2 more minutes like this, and then we'll do the final little step. Right, we're back. That's been about 2 minutes, minute and a half. You can smell is a really important thing when you're cooking, because a lot of the time you can tell if something's kind of ready by the smell of it. So once you're starting to smell that broccoli, and it's quite a distinctive smell, you know it's kind of cooked enough, because it's starting to release all the kind of brilliant flavours and fragrance. So I know that's about right for me. It's got a nice bit of crunch in it still, so you're keeping some of the nutrition in it. So for the veggies and the vegans, it's a great way to do it, because you're going to get more nutrition out of it the less you cook it. What I'm going to do is just give that a little rinse quickly. I want to I'm going to turn this right down now. I don't want it to burn and do stuff, so that's literally down to a 1 on this, so it's just a real gentle heat. This is some basil that is already pre-washed, and then I've just let it dry out and popped it in the fridge. So I'm just going to do just some nice little cuts through, just 1 cut through, clump it up, just, you know, run the knife through really gently, and that's perfect. You don't need any more than that. And you don't want to cook this very long on this at all, so I want the heat to drop a bit. Now I've turned it down, that's great. So what I'm going to do is balsamic vinegar. I'm going to splash about, I don't know, 2 teaspoons, I guess, or maybe not even that. It's probably, you know, a little splash like that. Give that a toss. I'm going to throw the basil in. Perfect. And I'm going to do a little tiny drizzle of this caramelised balsamic. Literally, that was just hardly anything. And then I'm going to put in a knob of butter like that, and just dropped in like that. And that's it. You could put a bit more pepper in at this point, but if, like me, you've run out, then you'll have to just not put any more black pepper in, but we've probably got enough in there. And I'm just tossing that round really gently. It's on a super low heat, so I know the caramelised or the sugars in the balsamic vinegar aren't going to burn. And that's just really nicely coated. Beautiful fragrance from the basil, nice bit of vinegriness from the from the balsamic vinegar, bit of butter just to help cut through that vinegriness. And you could put in a I don't know, a touch of sugar if you want to, you know, or honey even. But I think this is good because that caramelised balsamic is probably about right. And that is super tasty. Now this is also really good with fresh mint instead of basil, but I had basil left over, excuse me, from the other day. So it's so I just thought I'd use that. It's worth it. I mean, I know it's going to work because the fragrance on the basil is about right, but mint is also really nice in this. It's something with the mint and the balsamic and the vegetables just goes so well together. So if you've got some fresh mint, chuck that in as well with the basil when we did the basil, and that is super awesome. And this is really good with something like a lasagna, because the lasagna is super rich and, you know, opulent and stuff. So the kind of slight vinegariness and crunch to all this is a really good balance to that. So that's kind of it. That is it. Super tasty. We'll see if we can get a few more grates of pepper out of that. And then that is it. Nicely cooked. Still a bit of crunch to it. Beautiful, sweet, sour kind of flavours from the vinegar and the sugars. And some real nice fragrance from the basil and the mint if you've put mint in there. So that's looking great. I'm going to just serve this on here. We'll get our lasagna out as well, but I think I'll do this as a separate little pretty photo just for some nice balsamic vegetables. And that's looking pretty damn good. Oh, the fucking beeping, honestly, Jesus Christ. I think I need an induction pan that doesn't beep all the time, but needs must at the moment. So there we go, super beautiful, nice and crunchy. Nice colour on the courgettes or the zucchinis, and yeah, super beautiful. kind of balsamic-y, sweet sour vegetables to go with, you know, really great with like lasagna, Italian style food, salads, you know, potatoes. You know, if you're doing like a vegan meal, you can cook that. Don't do the butter, use the nutlets, and have it with some tofu and some, you know, potatoes and or some salad on the side. And yeah, super good. Really good with the tomato salad on the side as well, maybe with some mozzarella or something. So yeah, super simple, super quick, really tasty. And we're going to get our lasagna out of the oven, get that served up, and watch some cricket. So cheers everybody. We'll be back with another video soon. I'm doing a frittata next, so that's going to be tomorrow. Super quick, awesome recipe, great for lunches, good for the veggies out there as well. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with the frittata. Cheers guys.